Does he miss you? Is he thinking about you? Whether this guy is your ex or a crush that you have or some guy that you've been seeing recently or dating recently, or even if you're in a relationship with this man, there are some very common patterns that happen when a guy misses a woman. And we're going to be talking about those today. Hello, my name is Matthew Coast, and welcome to my channel. Today, we're going to be talking about 10 signs that your man misses you. So let's jump right into it. Sign number one is that he comes up with reasons to contact you. So if he's not getting in touch with you at all, or he probably isn't really missing you or thinking about you. Or it could be that he's worried that he doesn't want to mess things up with you. If you go into the men's dating advice world, or if you listen to other people, right? And you probably have gotten advice like this before from women or friends or parents or somebody that's like, oh, don't text them back too much. Don't, do all these things. Don't reach out all the time, right? And so guys get that same kind of information. And so sometimes they try to play it cool. Or it's also possible that he could think that you're really angry at him and don't want to talk to him, especially if he's an ex and you went through a bad breakup or something like that. So you don't want to assume any of those things at all. You don't want to assume anything. However, it is good if he does reach out and get in contact with you. If he's contacting you, even for weird reasons. Sometimes I have women that are like, he just said hi, or he contacted me to tell me he's watching a TV show. Why is he doing that, right? And the reason that guys do that is because they want to be connected with you. They just want to have some type of connection and contact with you because they're sitting there thinking about you and they want to share that moment with you and they want to be connected with you in some way because they really like you. And so if he's doing that, you can definitely, if he's contacting you, you can definitely bet that he is thinking about you. So sign number two is that he is stalking you in social media. So if he's not stalking you on social media, let's just cover this real quick. It doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot because he might not be a social media kind of person. So if he's not a social media kind of person, it doesn't mean a whole lot. But what you might want to try doing is try posting a story. So if you do social media and you know he's on social media sometimes, try posting a story. And if he looks at the story, because then you get to see whoever looks at the stories. And so if you post a story and he looks at the story, you'll know that at least you either came up in his feed and he was like, oh, what's going on with her? Or he's kind of stalking you. He's silently stalking you in the background, right? So if he's constantly on social media, it could be one of two things. Either one, he's a social media addict, right? And he has problems and needs to go to therapy. I know there's a lot of us these days that are social media addicts. Or he's eagerly and waiting and wishing and wanting to be in better contact with you and know what's going on with you because he really likes you. And he's so connected and he can't stop thinking about you and he wants to figure out what's going on with you and where you are and what you're doing. He's like, oh, what is she doing? I want to know more. I want to be with her. I want her in my life. Right. Hopefully he's doing that. Right. Number three is that he's suddenly interested in your male friends. Right. And this is kind of there's one of those things out there where we talk about this idea of jealousy, and a lot of people, jealousy gets a bad rap, and for good reason, right? For very, very good reason. But there's a scale, there's kind of a continuum. They've done research on this, and they found there's a continuum of people and their levels of natural jealousy. And some of it has to do with insecurities, and some of it just has to do with your biological functions being different than other people. And sometimes guys will get like if he really likes you and he's missing you and he wants to know what's going on with you and his level of interest for you raises, he may be more and more interested in who you're hanging out with, like your friends, the guy friends specifically, because he wants to know what your relationship is to them. And if he's got a chance with you and if you're seeing somebody else and all that kind of stuff. And so sometimes he'll kind of like look around and look for hints like a lot of women do in our community. And so if he's interested in your male friends, wondering what you're doing with them, spending time with them, asking questions about it, that's because his attraction level is high and he's thinking about you. So sign number 4 is that he avoids meeting new people and hanging out with new people and getting into new relationships. If he is meeting new people, it's either because he's moved on from you, if this is an ex, or if maybe you guys had kind of a fight or something like that, or he's trying to forget about you because he wants to get you out of his mind because he really does like you a whole lot, which is something people do, right? It's a very common thing post-breakup for people to get a rebound. And the reason they're doing that is because they're trying to get these needs fulfilled that they are no longer getting through you. And so they try to find somebody else to forget about you and think of somebody else and get those needs met. It usually doesn't work out. Most of the time it doesn't work out. But if he is meeting new people, there's a good chance that, or if he's not meeting new people, there's a good chance that he's at home sulking and thinking about you and feeling frustrated that you're not in his life and contemplating whether he should contact you and how do I get her back? How do I get her in my life? How do I get this amazing woman to be with me? I don't know if he's doing that or not, but it's possible. It's possible. Sign number 5 is he seems weirdly emotional when you talk to him. And so all these signs, one of the things you want to think about is the more of them that exist there, the better. Like they don't all have to exist. Like I said, some people are different with different things. And so the more of these that are there, the more likely it is that he misses you and he's thinking about you and all those kinds of things. And so why would a guy be weirdly emotional when he's talking to you? This is sign number 5. He's weirdly emotional. Why? The most common reason is actually because you are not behaving in the way that he wishes you would behave. And women do this to men as well. So you're not acting as into him as he is into you, right? And so he's getting upset. He's like, oh, why doesn't she like me more, right? Or something like that. And so he starts acting, weird, or maybe you don't seem to care as much, or maybe you blew off meeting up with him, or you told him you're going to do something and you didn't do it, or something like that, right? And he's frustrated with your behavior right now, and he wishes that you would do something different, right? And he wants to elicit, a lot of times guys and women, people in general will try to elicit a strong emotional reaction from the other person by getting upset or doing something like that because you're not behaving the way that they want you to behave. And so they do this to try to get this emotional reaction out of you because it'll show how much you care to them. And if you don't, it's like they get even more freaked out, right? Because they realize that they don't have that power in the relationship. Every relationship has a power struggle. And it's a thing that you should be aware of because it's very, very important. And you want the power in a relationship to be around even because that's when you're usually really, really attracted to each other, right? You just want to have a little bit more power than that. Sign number 6 is he shares things to social media as if he's talking to you. So maybe he posts some quotes or he posts some memes or he posts some kind of weird esoteric thing that nobody sees. It's like some kind of rambling that nobody really gets and understands. And people are like, what is he referencing? Who's he talking about? Like, what's going on here, right? If he's doing that, he may not be directly talking to you, right? It might not be a message to you, even if it feels like it kind of is. More likely, it's some kind of subconscious processing where he's processing whatever's going on between the two of you. And then whatever that is it's getting expressed from him through his social media channel. This is actually a very common thing for people to do, men and women, after a breakup or, when they have really strong emotional feelings for another person, this is very, very common for them to do. And a lot of times they're not even aware that they're doing it. It's just something that they do. They see a meme or a quote or something that reminds them of, or it resonates with them and how they're feeling. And so they post it and they talk about it and all that kind of stuff. And it's just a reflection of what's going on inside of them. So sign number 7. Sign number 7 is he answers you really quickly, right? He answers you quickly. So if he waits a while to respond, he could be kind of playing it cool, like what we talked about before. Maybe he's getting some advice from some dating people or his parents or friends or whatever, or you might not be a priority, right? There's no real way to know which one it is, which is why some of those things kind of work with people, because it kind of shifts the power dynamic and makes them feel kind of this loss and this vacuum. However, if he answers you quickly every single time, you know that he's eagerly awaiting your messages and he's pushing other things aside to make responding to you a priority, because you are a priority to him and he really likes you. And so he's like, whatever's going on, it doesn't matter. He's so important to me right now, right? So that happens, and it's a good sign. It's a good sign if he responds really quickly. Sign number 8 is that he's trying to impress you with major lifestyle changes. And so this could be on his social media, especially after breakups. This is actually a very common thing, is if he's getting dating advice, he may have heard about this before, where it's like, hey, try to show the other person this side of you that's changed and that's growing and that's becoming more. And even if it's not after a breakup, if you guys are dating or you're in a relationship, he might be doing that because he thinks or he knows that you're going to be watching it and seeing it, and he wants to impress you with it, right? Men naturally want to impress women that they really like. So he wants you to think highly of him. And the way that he does this is by displaying qualities that he thinks that you will value in him. And so that's what he's doing when guys do this, right? If he's doing things like showing himself working out in the gym, or talking about working out in the gym, or showing a new job, or he has some wonderful news to share, or he's got this new lifestyle thing where he's going out in the wilderness or whatever, right? He's trying to impress you, and he's strategically doing that, whether he's doing it consciously or doing it subconsciously, because he may not even know that he's doing it. But a lot of times this is like actually a conscious thing, where he's like, I want her to know that I'm an amazing man that she wants to be with. So I'm going to post these things and let her know that I'm so amazing. And she's going to see me and think such great things, right? This is his fantasy that he's having. This is his fantasy that he's having in his mind. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Number 9 is he makes elaborate plans. So if he's not that interested, he'll just try to play everything by ear, right? He's just like, things will happen. He's like, I don't know what we're doing. We're just going to show up somewhere. He's busy with something else. He waits till the last minute to figure out anything that you guys are doing, and ends up being you guys going to, Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, and, walking by a park or something, right? That's what ends up happening. And so if the more interested he is, the more likely he is to make plans that takes all of your needs into consideration. So if he's not doing it, there's also another possibility. And that possibility is that he's clueless. And there are a lot of clueless men out there right now, right? There are a lot of clueless people out there right now because of all the misinformation that's coming from the media and culture in our society and all that kind of stuff. But you need to question whether you actually want to be with a clueless man or not. Because if you are, then you're going to have to teach him everything about dating and relationships and life, or he's going to have to figure it out somehow. And with two people, there's always, it doesn't matter who you are, there's always going to be a little bit of learning that two people need to do when they meet each other, because your values are different. You come from different backgrounds. You were raised differently. You have had different expectations in different relationships because other women aren't like you. You can 100% guarantee that. And they have different expectations of what they want and what they don't want, what's acceptable to them and what's not acceptable to them. And so there is learning in every situation, but the question is how much, right? And if you're starting from the beginning with him, is it worth it? And so if he's making elaborate plans, it's a really good sign. If he's not, you might want to question something there. Sign number 10, and this is by far, in my opinion, and it should be in your opinion as well, the most important sign, and here it is. He pushes to meet up with you and spend time with you. So this, like I said, is the most important sign. Why? Because you want a man who's pushing to meet up, spend time with you, get to know you, and be closer to you so that he can develop something with you. You want him, the more effort and energy that he is investing into you and your interactions and your relationship, into things with you, the better. And the more that you have to do all those things when he's not doing those things, the worse things are, right? And so initially in any kind of situation, dating scenario, you want him to be doing the overwhelming majority of putting in effort and energy and all that kind of stuff. You still want to put in energy and effort, right? Like I keep having these women in our community that are like, don't do anything, never contact man, right? And it's like, that's not healthy. That's not how a healthy relationship is built. You want to have some contact back. You both want to be putting in energy and effort. The best relationships are relationships that are built together. If you're doing everything, that's bad. That's really, really bad. And you are in for pain in your future. If he's doing everything, he's in for pain in the future, because the more invested somebody is, the more energy and effort and things that they do, money, all that kind of stuff, emotion, all of those things, the more that somebody invests in somebody else or something else, the more likely they will be to not want to lose that thing. And so you want him to be invested. It's by far the most important thing, is that he's moving towards you, he's investing in you, and not necessarily from a financial standpoint, but at least from an energy and an effort standpoint, because that is the most important things. So let's go over the signs again real quick, and then we will go over questions. So here are the 10 signs. Number 1 is he comes up with reasons to get in contact with you. Number 2 is he stalks you on social media. Number 3 is he's suddenly interested with the fact that you have male friends and what they're doing and what you guys are doing together. Number 4 is he avoids meeting new people. Number 4. Number 5 is that he seems strangely emotional when you start talking to him. Number 6 is he shares things to social media, and it seems as if he's like talking directly to you. Number 7 is he answers you very quickly. Number 8 is he tries to impress you with major lifestyle changes. Number 9 is he makes elaborate plans. And number 10 is that he pushes to meet up with you and spend time with you.